Have you ever looked at a common everyday item, but just one day woke up and just looked at it differently, saw it in a way you have never seen it before, and realized like the total genius behind it? Well, that's how we are starting to feel about pop-up camper trailers. And that's coming from a guy who had small pop-up trailers really low on his want list. Hey guys, welcome back to Playing with Sticks. If you're new to the channel, my name is Drew. This is a channel devoted to you guys about exploring small camper trailers and just sharing the tips and tricks we learn along the way as we take these trailers out. But right now, let's get into the 5 reasons why we think a pop-up trailer is the best small camper trailer for families. Okay, I'm racing a thunderstorm here, so I'm gonna go a little quickly here. The first feature I wanna talk about is the size, and it's the obvious feature. This thing has a small footprint, but it also has a large space capacity on the inside once opened up. But the footprint is the part that really excites me, because as a growing family, space at home for storage is like, it's a commodity that we did not realize was so valuable to us, but the more our children age and get into new activities and events,
Reverse.
and the more children we have in the family, all that space starts looking much different as the bikes come in and the hockey gear comes in and the winter ice fishing gear. It all starts taking a spot. And if in the beginning when we got into the small camper life, we would have went on the larger end and got a 16-foot camper, or even went with a full-on fifth wheel or a large travel trailer, now we would have been squeezing in, trying to find space everywhere around it. Where if you start off with something like a pop-up trailer, it can grow with your family on the inside, but the outside is always going to be small enough that for many of you, you're gonna actually be able to get it in your garage. But here's the big part. What is different about this pop-up for families than trailers we've taken out, like a Scamp fiberglass trailer or a converted cargo trailer or like our teardrop trailer? This guy, he is very low in stature when you park him in your yard, when you tow him with your car, or if you have a large enough garage when you bring him in. Now, if you pull in a teardrop trailer, or you take the air, let's say, out of a fiberglass trailer's wheels, or you get it down to its axles and you're able to get it in there, you now have no vertical space left. So it's pretty much taken up the entire side of your garage. If you bring one of these into your garage, you can build from the ceiling down, build all those supports to put your kayaks and to put your bikes, and you can make it in a way that you earn back or gain back your space that you wouldn't have in another small camper trailer. So this guy came in even lower than I thought it would. So at its highest point here, we're talking 4 foot 4 inches. Well, truly its highest point would probably be here with the vent. So with the vent, we're at about 4 foot 5.5 inches. So anything from 4 foot 5.5 inches up to the top of the ceiling of your garage is all space that you can utilize. So keeping it small in the garage is one great benefit, but it's also nice to have it small for outside. And small as in footprint, because it's going to fit in tight areas in your yard, up next to your house, but also small again in its height. Because when you're getting in there and putting your trailer in, so let's say mine right now, the Shasta Compact that we've introduced you all to, it has a pretty high roof line. I think it's like 7 feet tall or maybe even taller. And so what that means is if we're going to build some sort of lean-to up to it, that lean-to is going to start high and end low, meaning more time to build it, more cost in materials, and it's gonna take, just more of my outdoor space. With one of these little pop-up trailers, yeah, you could build a really low lean-to, but for most of these trailers, they're so low, most folks just put on, a tarp over it in the winter, and because it's down at this height, you can just shovel off that snow all winter long, and you're not traveling up a ladder to move it off. which is why many people build the lean-to in the first place, because they don't want to get on top of their Scamp or on top of their vintage trailer or their cargo trailer and get that off all the time. So these little pop-ups here, they cost quite a bit. Like the new ones that are out there, some of them I think are definitely overpriced, but there are so many used pop-ups out there. I mean, no matter what state I'm in, I'm seeing pop-ups all over campgrounds. And the difference in like resale or buying these used in comparison to other small travel trailers, I don't know too many people that are actually using these pop-ups full time. So many of these pop-ups, like our families here, they're not getting a whole lot of wear and tear. I would say my folks take this out tops 3-4 times a year. So you're gonna find many pop-ups like this taken well care of, stored inside in a garage. My folks store it in a barn, stored underneath a lean-to. And a lot of these are going for, you know, like $1,000 up to, you know, $3,000-$4,000. And I think that's a big deal for families, because many of you, like us, are going to get into this small camper life, and you're not really gonna know what you need until you get out here. And then once you get out here, you start realizing, oh, I need this in a trailer, or, you know, I didn't need this that I thought I needed. And so maybe the pop-up will be right for you and you'll keep it for life. But maybe it's not, and maybe it's gonna introduce you to this lifestyle. And so I think that's great for a family, because at $1,500 getting into it, and you're probably gonna get all of that out of resale for it, you're not set back at all. Where many of these small camper trailers, you drive them off the lot and you're already gonna lose like $5,000. So this one, I think, is like the #1 reason why these pop-ups are great for families. And it's that I think most of you want to give your kids or your grandkids an outdoor experience. Well, these, I don't know, it's much different than I thought it was going to be. When I see people in a pop-up trailer at a campground, to me it looks like they're inside a travel trailer. But now that we've spent the night in one of these things, once you're in it, it feels the same as being in a tent. When you're in there and all the windows are down, everything is basically bug meshing, and every sound from the outdoors you hear, every rabbit that goes by or deer goes by, you're seeing it all, you're feeling it all. It's just like you're outside.
No, I just love like the airiness of it, like all this mosquito netting. It feels like you're sleeping outside. You know what? I forgot to bring my fairy lights.
And so for me as a parent, I think having my kids in there doing their thing, I don't know, I'd feel a little better about it in some way, because they're still experiencing what I brought them out here to experience, and that's nature, and that's, you know, hearing, I don't know if you guys can hear in the mic right now, the thunderstorm is about to come in. So that's a great reason to get into this if you want your families to have that camp experience, but you still want some of those nice, you know, creature comforts that come with small camper trailers, a heater, a stove, a sink, some of them have bathrooms, air con. You can get all this, but yet still not be completely separated from this outdoor world you came to see.
Right. You won't go to daddy.
My face though.
Smush your face up.
So let's talk about the inside of this little guy. So I'm gonna go measure it for you guys, but I mean, that reaction May had when she got in that trailer, these things are huge. So she's coming in open up at about 19 feet. So it felt pretty big inside. I actually thought it was gonna hit like 20, 21, but 19 feet still in comparison to like a 13 or 16 foot small camper trailer, that's a lot of extra space. And I mean, I kind of knew they were. I'd been told that there's usually a queen bed on one side and a queen on the other. If you even need bigger, our next door neighbor, they have a pretty small footprint too, and they have a king on each side. But you get in there, each of the queens are actually a really long ways away from each other. They're actually so far apart. We had fans in there last night. We're in a warmer environment here. I couldn't hear May over on this side, I'm on this side. We actually used our little walkie-talkies during the middle of the night to communicate, because I couldn't hear over the fans because it was so far across. I know that sounds ridiculous, but these things are pretty big. Now, coming from somebody who's been in 16-foot fiberglass trailers, 13-foot trailers, this feels much bigger inside than those. There's just something about the square design. There's no space lost. You have a table in there that is always folded down. You're not going through that shifting of every morning, putting the bed back up, pulling the table out, eating your meal, to at night going and flipping it back again. There's just a lot of usable space in there. And it's neat because you're so far apart, you can actually have your kids come out with you and they can bring their friends, or it could be their kids and the cousins. And now you and your wife are on this side of the trailer and you have privacy blinds that give you, you know, a little feeling of privacy. They can still hear you. And then the kids are on the other side doing their thing and they feel independent and you feel, you know, a little rest from the kids. And it's all, again, in this little, small, affordable camper. So these are trailers that are great for families, but fiberglass trailers are also great for families. We have a playlist here of why scamp trailers are best for you and your growing family. We also have a playlist here that is about outdoor gadgets and gears that'll help you get out and enjoy your experience a little more. The best way you guys can help support us, share this video if it helped you in any way with your friends and families. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.